All right, this is my second attempt to try to explain my new understanding of gravity. And when you see this picture up here, just so your mind can visualize it, think of each of these circles as a realm, as a nested realm inward into the singularity point of the torus that we live in. And if you watch my Earth and the Nested Realms video, you understand that and you have that structure in your mind. All right, now let's go into redefining gravity. Gravity, the spiral, the fluidic space, and the dance of buoyancy. Let's talk about gravity, not just what they taught you, but what they never told you. First, Newton. Newton said gravity is a force of attraction. One mass pulls on another. The bigger the mass, the stronger the pull. The earth pulls the apple down. The sun pulls the planet around itself. Straight lines, invisible tethers, force and mass, simple as that. Then Einstein comes in and bends it. Einstein said gravity isn't a force pulling things together, it's the curve in space-time itself. Mass bends space and objects follow those curves. So the earth doesn't pull the apple rolls down the curve of space-time shaped by the earth's mass. Then Tesla looked at all of that and said, they're both missing something. Tesla believed in the ether, an ocean of subtle energy that fills all of space. He saw gravity not as a pull or curve, but as a push, an effect of pressure and vibration in this ocean of energy. Objects move because their ether flows, pressing them along invisible streams and currents. Now here's where I come in. The twist. I don't see gravity as a pull like Newton, or a bend like Einstein, or just a push like Tesla. I see it as a spiral. A living pattern of resonance. Nothing pulls, nothing pushes, everything dances. The apple doesn't drop because it's pulled or pushed. It spirals inward through the nested fields that connect it with Earth. The Earth and the apple are not separate. They are 2 points in the same spiral flow. See? Look. In each of these nested fields, these membranes sing it down. Each membrane has its own inward spiral, pulling energy and matter toward denser states, closer and closer to the singularity at its heart. So when something falls, it's not forced, it's sung down through the spiral staircase of the membranes, each layer guiding it deeper until it reaches the core. Gravity is the song the spiral sings as it folds spirit into matter. The same spiral shapes galaxies, DNA, seashells, hurricanes, even the way your heart moves blood. Gravity is not a force, it's resonance. It's spirit moving in a spiral, folding space, time, and matter into the same living pattern. So that's the real twist. Newton, pull. Einstein, curve. Tesla, push. Me, spiral. And here's why it matters. Because once you see the spiral, you see the solar singularity for what it really is. Every star, every sun, every black hole is a singularity at the heart of the cosmic spiral, an eye in the storm. Galaxies aren't random clouds. They're spiraling around these singularities like the apple spirals to the earth. The universe itself is a fractal field of singularities dancing in nested spirals, macro and micro, one breath. And if you really look, you'll see every thought, every path you walk, every lifetime you live, it all moves through the same spiral. Even the zodiac, the 12 gates spinning around you. It's just the spiral broken into fields, each branch feeding the next. So when you remember the spiral, you remember the branches too. And you see the singularity at the center of it all. That's why I built the healing map, to help you trace your own spiral back to source, to clear the blockages, walk the branches, open the gates, and come home. Same apple, same earth, same you. But now you see the whole dance, and you carry the map to find your way through it. And here's the final hidden piece. Gravity only works because you're not falling through empty space. All right? Let me say that again. Gravity only works because you're not falling through empty space. You're spiraling through a fluidic, crystalline medium. The air you breathe, the sky above you, the space between the stars, none of it is empty. It's a living ocean of subtle fluid, nested layers of plasma, ether, and charge. The spiral needs the fluid to move, and the fluid needs the spiral to flow. So if you stop the spiral, there's no down. So the apple would just stay in stasis because there would be no way for it to pull down, because we're in fluidic space, literally, like SpongeBob. So if you stop the spiral, there is no down. If there's no fluid, there's no spiral. Everything you think of as weight is really the dance between the spiral pattern and the fluid ocean you're swimming in. Gravity equals spiral plus fluid equals dance. And here's how you can see it for yourself. A balloon rises because it creates a local pocket of a medium, the gas inside, that is less dense, which means the vibration or energy arrangement of the toroidal clusters inside it is higher relative to the surrounding fluid, the air. In this fluidic spiral view, density means how tightly the spiral currents cluster charged particles together in the fluid medium. The denser, slower, tighter, more inward coiling spiral. Less dense, looser, faster, outward coiling spiral. A balloon filled with helium has a gas whose particles are farther apart and vibrating at a higher frequency than the nitrogen-oxygen mix around it. So its local cluster is less bound, less inwardly spiraled. It's more buoyant in the surrounding downward spiral flow. So the up isn't a separate force. It's the result of the downward spiral bias of gravity pushing denser clusters down past the less dense ones. The denser the fluid wants the center, so it replaces the lighter cluster upward. It's like a bubble rising in water. It's not that the bubble floats by some force pulling it up. It's that the denser water wants the center, so it replaces the less dense bubble up the gradient. When the vibration inside the balloon equalizes the surroundings, like if helium leaks out or the temperature drops, the local clusters tighten, the buoyancy drops, the bubble slows its spin, and gravity's downward spiral bias takes over again. So the balloon sinks not because it falls, but because the spiral tension equalizes, and the denser medium pull reclaims it. The balloon rises because its internal spiral clusters are looser and faster. The surroundings fluid downward spiral pushes the denser layers down through it, displacing the lighter pocket up. The float is just the equilibrium point where the internal spiral resonance matches the external. When the internal vibration slows, the cluster densifies, the balance shifts, and it rejoins the greater inward spiral. It falls. So the next time you see a balloon drift or a bubble rise, remember, even the float is the spiral and the fluid dancing together. Hope you have a great day. And just real quick, so understand everything that exists has a singularity in the middle. Everything's made out of a toroid. And what you have are toroids that are tighter packed or less packed. And do they have a template for the energy to flow within? So that is how the structure of the reality works. And then, like I've told you before, water is just photonic light without a template. It's a more dense ether than the air that we're breathing. Hope you have a great day. Namaste.